Welcome or welcome back. Today we start the sessions related to the first source of learning from the self. I introduced it before in the previous session. Education is not enough. Learning is a six-fold structure. That's the ORBITS Learning Hexagon. Our core learning comes from the self. As I see it after 43 years of life and their different challenging stages, the self is the inner self and the outer self. Today we talk about the inner self. And the inner self, as I see it, is our mind, heart, soul, and spirit. It is like a garden near or surrounding our home. It has its pathways with plants, flowers, grass on the sides. When we nurture it and know how to do that, well, it grows and it makes our homes look fresh and lively. And the opposite, when we do not know how to nurture it, when we neglect it, the more dull our house will be, no more than lifeless bricks. The inner self is complex, and there is no phrase or sentence that can best describe it. It has been the core of religious, philosophical, and psychological discussion for centuries, as we all know. And only during this period, particularly the past 5 to 6 years, people have started to take notice of few of its keys. And despite all our previous attempts and ways to explain it, we are still limited in the way we do that. Yes, we as people are vulnerable. Each one of us is only a tiny cell in this vast world that we live in. And our Creator remains the most intelligent, the most capable, the most compassionate, and above all, the most innovative. And yes, this might be a bit interesting, but we will talk about this in depth in upcoming sessions. So like always, the best way to stir up any session is to ask questions. And how many times have we asked questions or heard others asking questions like, why am I sad now when there is no clear reason for it? Why did I get angry quickly when they said that? Why do I feel that I am stuck? Why do I feel helpless? Why do I speak like my mother or father or etc. does? Why does this keep happening to me? What did I do wrong? These are just few scenarios that occur with thousands of people every day. And each one of us have gone through some of these moments. While these may be moments, they may also drag over days, over weeks, over months, or even years. And what is interesting is that people act towards all of these thoughts and questions in different ways. Some react with inexplicable, sudden bursts of anger and even harm. Some react with sadness that may turn into depression or burnout. Some react with neglect or escapism, and that shows through addictions of many sorts. For example, the latest, which is the social media addictions and so on. But there is a few who react with a keen eye of understanding why these things happen in the first place. And this is what will be done here in these sessions. So first, let us break apart the inner self. It is the mind, the heart, the soul, and the spirit. Now, the mind is obviously not the brain. The brain, as defined by, for example, Johns Hopkins medicine, it is the organ that controls thought, memory, emotions, touch, motor skills, vision, breathing, temperature, hunger, and every process that regulates our body. Whereas if we think of the mind, it's defined by Cambridge Dictionary as the part of a person that makes it possible for him or her to think, feel emotions, and understand things. And Oxford Dictionary defines it as the element of a person that enables them to be aware of the world and their experiences, to think and to feel. It's the faculty of consciousness and thought. What our 5 senses catch and transmit into our brains are our perceptions, which connect and pile up, forming a layer of or a level of consciousness beneath which are layers and layers of perceptions that are not known to us, and this is the subconscious level. And the interesting point is that we are pushed or driven into moving or reacting by only 10% of our conscious mind, the known to us, and 90% of our subconscious mind, the unknown to us. And here lies the dilemma. Where do we stand, and how can we harmonize our actions and reactions with this 10-90 equation? That is difficult. The heart is the second element. It is known to all of us as this muscular organ that pumps the blood through the circulatory system by rhythmic contraction and dilation. But what we also know is that the heart is the source of love and compassion. It's love and compassion for our families, for our countries, and other aspects of our lives. The soul is the third element of our inner self. It's defined by Merriam-Webster Dictionary as the immaterial essence, animating principle, or actuating cause of an individual life. And we all know we are born into this life when a soul is instilled into that small bundle of flesh and blood. And when at a certain moment later and for a certain reason, the soul is taken away from that body. So the soul is what characterizes a person. It's the identity, it's the memories, the record of whatever was and is being imprinted on a person. And most importantly, it is what does not die. We know that the body falls into an overall dysfunction and becomes a deteriorating big lump, but the soul floats away, carrying the imprints with it. The last element is the spirit, and here is the one, the pure, that never holds any imprints, because it's pure essence of our Creator. It is our core of divine love and prosperity. It is never affected nor driven by any worldly matters. Its role is to remind us that there is an ultimate source of love, of care, of compassion, of strength, prosperity, wisdom, and peace, and that we have come here from that source and we will return to it. It is our Creator. How is learning related to all this? Now, this is the main signpost. Amid all the calls and efforts to learn and teach, to lead, to progress in life, to start from school to university to the workplace, there is one signpost that we cannot ignore, whether we understand its value or not. It is the call to look within first. We are taught, unfortunately, and programmed by our logic that everything we need to understand and react or work with is outside of us. When we reflect on it, we know that we must unlearn these things, looking from the inside out, not the outside in. We will delve deep into this later. Back to the garden image. Learning in this case is seen here as walking from the main gate across those pathways to reach our home. It's the Creator, it's the source where we function from love, from compassion, from prosperity, from wisdom. There is no fear, there is no guilt, there is no lack, there are no grudges. More about this in upcoming sessions. Thank you for being here.